that didn't work. So I came home and the power was out at the club, but it is a beautiful moony night and whatnot. But the problem with that is that for some reason my batteries were drained. Right now they're charging. I'm using the engine to recharge them. That way tomorrow morning at least I know that they'll be good to go. But it is a little bit worrisome that they only lasted one day without power, because normally I take good care of them, so I'll have to check that out this weekend and make sure that the levels are okay. So there was a power outage here at the club the other day, and what happened during that outage is that I noticed that the batteries reading at 25% instead of where they should be. Right now they're at 75%, which is still low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them to West Marine and have them looked at professionally, because they have the awesome measurement devices there. Alright. So more specifically, I'm going to be looking at battery bank number 2. These are the 2 starting batteries. And you might notice that they are not the same kind and not the same age. Not supposed to do that. I got cheap when I bought the new one, and that might be the source of the odd power levels. So I'm going to check that out. Alright, so I'm going to take off the battery leads here. You'll notice I'm wearing a rubber glove and also using a rubber handled wrench to do this, because I don't want arc my batteries, and I also don't want to accidentally come in contact with any battery acid. That stuff is dangerous, and I will not be having any of that today. So I'm just going to set everything aside, out of the way, to make sure that I've already turned off the circuitry for everything, so there's nothing actually connected at the moment, on the direct current side that is. On the alternating current, I still have that running because I still like to have a little bit of air conditioning going while I'm working. Just gonna take that off. Take this off. Pull it out. Come back. One thing I like to do is put a little bit of tape around the leads that go together. That way I know when I come back I'm not going to accidentally put them on the wrong one. Sometimes it's not very clear which one goes with which. But, yeah. Setting that aside, right there. So before I take these to the store, I'm going to check the fluid levels in each of the cells. It looks pretty okay in all of them, but could probably use a little bit more fluid. There are other tests I can do before I take it, and I think I have the right tools for it, but we're going to check on that. It is 3 days before Christmas. I'm wearing shorts. God bless Texas. I'm loaded in the car. I'm just going to take them to West Marine and have them checked out for free. They are heavy. I'm a little bit out of breath from that, but now they're in the car. Hopefully I don't have to buy new ones because they are expensive and they don't really taste good. So I don't recommend eating them because they don't taste good. But I guess, you know, gotta buy it for the boat. Anything for the boat. Placed the older battery with a new one. That way they both have the matching amperage rating. The amperage rating is actually what is important for these kinds of batteries, especially since this is the battery bank that starts the engine. Now I don't have to rely on the house batteries as a backup. I can rely on just the starting bank, which is how it should be. Alright, now it's time for the Sailing Anticipation trivia quiz. Get out your electrical engineering books and follow along, kids. These batteries are in parallel or in series. Do 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 do. That's right, they are in parallel. You always want to put your stacked battery bank in parallel and make sure that you double and triple check because that could lead to a lot of bad problems if you don't. Now that I have the battery bank installed, I'm going to do what I do every episode, crank the engine. Well, that didn't work. So right now I had it drawing only from the batteries that we just put in. Since they're not fully charged, that might be why it's not doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and swap it to both. You never want to swap it while the engine is running. Always make sure your engine's off. That can destroy your alternator, although some do have a protection system for that. But now that we are drawing from both battery banks, let's try it again. Took a couple extra cranks, but we're up and running. Yep, up and running. After starting a battery, or starting an engine like that, I like to keep the engine running for a little bit to make sure that the batteries get recharged, and we'll go from there. Fun day of sailing finished, but get that beautiful sunset. That's why I do it. Beautiful sunsets and shipboards. It is Sunday, my dudes, and it is gorgeous out, but I'm stuck inside getting my work done. Not sailing right now. Fuel pumping. It will fill up my tank. That way, when I do finish my work, which currently is on Facebook right now, I will go out and enjoy this lovely afternoon. Headed out for a little Christmas sailing on this lovely Christmas Eve afternoon. quiet around here today. Not a lot of people taking advantage of the weather. It's kind of sad. Got that light weather out. Well, it's the only weather I have right now. That light wind, we're going almost 4 knots. It's not bad. It's casual. It's Christmas. Not in a hurry. Yet. At this point, we're pushing 4.5 knots. The tide is out, lower than it normally is. We're actually at the lowest low as per the chart. So I'm watching my depth constantly to make sure that there's no shallow spots that developed. Someone at the club mentioned they saw 5.2 feet. That's pushing it. I don't want to run aground one day before Christmas. It's not how I planned on spending the holiday, but right now we're just tracking along. Nice. So about 200 yards up ahead, there's a drastic change in color. The water, I think that is a tide line, which I've not seen in this bay, but it's popular for fish, according to the birds, because there are a lot of seagulls hanging out around it. Let's see what happens when we get to it. You can see that drastic change a lot better now. It almost looks like there's something floating in the water. That might be the case. It might be just that fishing vessel over there dragging up dirt, making a mess behind him, but it looks kind of cool. We're about to enter into it. Let's see what we get. Water depth right now is showing 10 feet. Let's see if there's a change in depth as well associated with this. Still 10 feet. It's just a weird color change. That's all. Decided to head back towards my side of the bay just because I don't want to be too far away from home when it gets dark out, and with the wind direction, it's going to be a lot of tacking to get back over there, so might as well start that now and hang out where I'm close to home. But going about 4 knots into the wind, so pretty good tack, pretty good point of sail. They think they're racing, but little do they know, at 4 knots, I'm unstoppable. Just kidding, we're actually going hand in hand right now. Yay, we made it back. Safe and sound so far. Now we get to dock. And there's a very strong current coming into the entrance right there. It's kind of creating some weird loops here in the harbor, but not a lot of wind. That'll make docking really easy today. Well, a good life hack when you need to blow dry your hair but you don't have a blow dryer. All you have to do is walk outside, let the wind do it for you. Where is it? There it is. Oh yeah. Nice and dry. Another life hack when you're feeling cold, you can just put on a jacket, then you won't be so cold. It's Christmas Eve and it is 60 out. Good breeze, so I'm gonna go sailing. And we're off for some Christmas Eve sailing. Hi duckies. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I don't think they can hear me. Merry Christmas! we've got a wind coming out of the south today, and it's supposed to stay like that all afternoon. That's good because here on the map, let me show you, that'll blow the water into the bay, and lately the water has been really low, so having that little extra push from the wind will actually help a lot in making sure that we don't accidentally run aground. Yesterday I was worried about that, but I think today we've got a lot more water in the bay than we did, so we'll be fine. Yesterday the depth was around 8 feet out here. Today we're showing 9, so we've got about an extra foot of water out here on the high Galveston Bay. Sails are set. We're on close reach, going about 5 knots. Yesterday is technically a light wind day, although it feels a lot windier than it did yesterday. But I'm happy with how we're performing right now. I'm not going to worry too much about getting a perfect trim. Say hello to the dredging. Merry Christmas. Well, I made my turn southward, and lo and behold, did not look good either. Forecast says no rain, but it looks a little bit kind of rainy. Let's see what we get into. Even this close to the dredging barges. It's a pretty neat little operation they've got going on here in the channel. Clearing it out, making sure that the dying ships can pass through. Well, it got a little bit chilly out under the cloud cover here. Got my long pants on, about to cross that tide line that we crossed yesterday again. I'm actually surprised that it hasn't moved all that much. And I'm going to try to go as far south as I can before about 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock I need to turn around and head to church, because it is Christmas Eve. Church is at 6. Just gonna head south for a while. Maybe I'll get to the ship channel before I have to turn around. Probably not. Going 5 knots, I've got about 2 hours before I have to turn around. So I'll probably make it past 20 minutes. That's it. I don't know what these are. They had the right of way, and I tried to maneuver to where I'd be going behind them, and then they just changed course to go directly towards me. So maybe they're not paying attention to me. They'll realize that they're on the starboard tack. Crazy drivers all over this place. Can't escape them at sea either. Marks the furthest that I've ever taken my boat. I've been further on other boats. Yeah, my boat, I don't really get a lot of opportunities to take it very far. And this is unfortunately as far as I'm going to go today, because I see an oyster farm up ahead marked out by PVC piping. And with the wind direction, I'm not going to be able to avoid it. So in a few minutes here, I'll tack around and head back to the club. But yeah, if I hadn't slept in this morning, I probably could have made it a lot further. And one of these days, I'll actually make it out of the bay. But yeah, we're only about halfway. It's got a long way to go before I can get into the ocean. from here at least. And now I'm headed with the wind, headed back home. It's a lot quieter out when you're headed with the wind. You're not constantly hearing the roar of that apparent wind, but should be back in a couple hours. We're doing 5 knots right now, and that feels pretty good. I shouldn't have to jibe or anything like that. I should be able to make it home on this tack. So, yay! So, like I said, today was the furthest I've taken my boat out, away from the club, that is, in a single direction. I just checked the chart. I'm 7 miles out, nautical miles that is, away from home. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're sailing at 5 knots and upwind most of the way, that's pretty good, especially for a 3-hour tour. Total, it'll probably be 5 or 6 hours from the time I left to when I get back, but not bad at all. Letting the autopilot steer for a bit, see how it does. Usually you need a little bit of speed for it to keep up, and going 5 knots it should have enough to keep up with what we're trying to do. Cool feature on my Garmin is it actually has a sonar plot. I think the intention for that is fishing, but even if you're not fishing, it's kind of neat to see what the bottom of the bay or whatever you're floating in looks like. Staying on course, so I'm gonna make a almond butter and jelly sandwich to help pass the time and quench my thirst for food. I believe that's called hunger. Yeah, pretty excited. So that cargo ship is headed right towards us, and we're only about 1,000 feet away from the ship channel over there. You can see a channel marker right there. So we're gonna get a full blow of its wake. I'm excited to ride that out. I think this is a Norwegian company, MSC. They will be traveling for several months though, which is kind of cool to think about. Honestly, it would be a fun job to have, traveling around the world on a ginormous ship. But I don't have that job. I have the other one, the one that I was given. Okay, now you can really see the wake coming off the stern of that ship. It is massive. That is like a 5-foot wave. That's probably an exaggeration. It's actually probably closer to like a few feet. But we're gonna hit that head on. Oh man, that was scary. Those were a lot bigger than I thought they would be. Oh man, I'm glad that I hit that head on though. I adjusted my course so that I wouldn't be taking that at an angle, because oh my gosh, that would have sucked. Okay, but the boat held up. I don't think anything broke, so we're good to go. I hate these so much. They're little crab traps that somebody keeps dropping out here, and they're hard to see, first of all, and then second of all, if you hit them, they're probably going to get dragged along with you and tie up your propeller. And they're all over the place. Not really all over the place, but they're usually in the most inconvenient places, like where I'm trying to sail. Say whenever I'm trying to sail, I mean where the autopilot is trying to sail, because I'm just along for the ride, enjoying these awesome views. back, but that was a fun day. Fun way to spend a Christmas Eve. Couldn't imagine any other way of spending it other than maybe at home with family and friends, but this is fun too. Home is where the slip fees are, and it's also dead ahead. Headed home on a beam reach. Church is at 6 and it's only 4:47. That means I have an hour to shower, get ready, and enjoy the Christmas season. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you for watching. I'll probably post some more videos later on next year, but for now, I will see you in 2019. Merry Christmas, everyone.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings.
Picking up my Christmas nuggets, as is tradition.
Good tidings for Christmas and a happy